Rams have cut a surefire Hall of Famer. Chicharito of the LA Galaxy will miss Saturday's El Trafico, and the Dodgers have made a subtle change in their jersey. It's subtle, but it might also be tragic. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and start for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. My flight got canceled last night. I'm still stuck in Portland, Oregon, here at Ice Station Echo. It is February 24th, 2023. Hopefully I'll be seeing the wife today. Let's talk a little LA sports in the meantime. If you like the content we put out, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It lets you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comments. We got some good stuff to talk about today. Before we go through the news and notes, look at the scoreboard. Last night, Malik Beasley, of all people, led the Lakers. He scored 25 points. The Lakers beat Golden State Warriors 124-111. We have more news on that game, though, we'll get to in a couple of minutes. Number 4th ranked UCLA knocked out Utah 78-71. Jaime Jaquez Jr. scores 23 points. USC, I believe this is their third consecutive win. Boogie Ellis scores 21 points in an 84-65 victory over Colorado. USC is 21-8. You remember when 20 wins was the standard to get you into the NCAA tournament? Yeah, those 8 losses, kind of a weight on your back as you... Anyway. New Jersey also needed overtime to defeat the LA Kings 4-3. Anze Kopitar and Sean Dursey each had a goal and an assist. The Kings are going to be in action today, by the way, at the New York Islanders at 4:30. Russell Westbrook will debut for the Clippers tonight as they take on Sacramento at 7:30. The Rams are going to release inside linebacker Bobby Wagner, according to ESPN. Now, it is a salary cap move, but to describe it as simply a salary cap move is a little bit too simplistic. You don't want to lose a player like Bobby Wagner. You don't. He's a surefire Hall of Famer who is still extremely productive. The man led the Rams last year with 140 tackles. You don't want that on your team? Seattle? I mean, now Seattle, in my opinion, was foolish to cut him. Even a year later. The man was an All-Pro 11 times over. He was such a positive force in the Rams locker room, despite the fact that the Rams had a lousy year, that they made him a captain right out the box. The interesting thing to me about this roster move, though, is the message that both sides are sending to each other. Now, hopefully they're parting on amicable terms. Again, I like Bobby Wagner. But it's more than the $5 million in cap space that the Rams are going to get by cutting this man. In a sense, it's Wagner saying that he wants to win and that even with everybody coming back who was injured last year, he doesn't think the Rams can get him there. It's also about the Rams saying, you know what? The way our defense is structured, we won without an elite middle linebacker. We need Jalen Ramsey. We need edge rushers. We need Aaron Donald. But we don't necessarily need an elite middle linebacker. Bobby Wagner may be a luxury, and it's not a luxury cap. It is a hard salary cap. The Athletics' Jordan Rodriguez, and I always hope I pronounce her name right because she's terrific at what she does. She wrote a tremendous, compelling deep dive into the mind of Rams coach Sean McVay during last season. And he admitted that his infectious excitement over football was quenched, just doused last year. The fire was put out. And during the course of the year, he became distant, he became cold, he became aloof. And there were many reasons for it. One of the reasons, which was listed in the story, which in my opinion, it was a very lengthy piece, but I think people will gloss over this point. The Rams lost the Super Bowl to the New England Patriots. We all know that a few years ago. McVay became convinced that until he had a title, he would not be happy. And so he wins the title. And so he's sitting there with this trophy thinking, now what? Is this all there is? What more? Right? And so because of that, it led to hasty, poor decisions during the offseason. Panic hires, for example, in the coaching staff. Rashad Samples, who only coached with the Rams running backs for 1 year, he was hired after just one 15-minute conversation. Could that be the reason that Cam Akers struggled last year? Is that a possibility? Could be. So there was a number of things that this reporter wrote that were just tremendous stuff. But McVay pulled no punches, even on himself. And he's hopeful, obviously, that taking his time with some of these changes, at least a little more, will lead to a better product for LA next year. A hamstring injury will keep Chicharito out of El Trafico at the Rose Bowl on Saturday. I think the rainstorms expected in Pasadena are going to keep a lot more people out of the Rose Bowl on Saturday. Oh, and a fan boycott from the Galaxy, but we've been covering that as well. Chicharito's hamstring was originally injured a couple of weeks ago during an exhibition game. They thought it would be day-to-day, but I don't know why they would say something like that. Hamstrings really don't have a defined recovery time. We've learned this from other athletes. Now, losing Mexico's all-time leading scorer is not a pleasant thought when you're going to be taking on LAFC, and he is 34. And in 2020, Chicharito only played 12 matches for the Galaxy. So this could be a cause for alarm, all things being equal and thrown into the blender. But the Galaxy are unique in that they might actually have an in-house replacement. Recall, Dejan Joveljic scored 11 times for the Galaxy last year, virtually all of them off the bench. So they might not be losing a lot in terms of finishing touch. The Galaxy also have acquired a midfielder, Uri Russell, who played for Sporting Kansas City and Orlando City. Honestly, I don't look at him as much of an offensive threat. Maybe he's more of a super late defensive replacement. That would be something for the Galaxy to decide, not me. You might need a second to notice how the Dodgers have changed their uniform this year. From now, it's not drastic, but it could wind up being drastic. For more than 20 years, the Dodgers have had an interlocking LA on one of the sleeves. It's gone now. Presumably, it's to make room for a potential advertising patch in the near future. And that bothers me. It bothers me a lot. If you're running the Miami Marlins, you need the money. You may as well make your uniform look like a NASCAR driver's outfit, right? This is the LA Dodgers we're talking about. It's iconic. The Nike swoosh that was put on the jersey a couple of years ago was enough of a poop stain smeared across the Dodger blue. But you know what? They had to put that Nike patch on there because Major League Baseball forced that. But advertising like Walmart on the glorious Dodgers jersey? Is money really that much of a false god to all of us that we're going to stain a jersey that looks like that? Look, when it comes to iconic clothing in human history, and I will stand on a soapbox and die on this hill, when it comes to iconic clothing in human history, you've got the dress that Marilyn Monroe wore on the subway grating, you've got the Shroud of Turin, and then you've got the Dodgers jersey. I will die on that mountain, sir. I do not want to see an ad for Bed Bath & Beyond on the damn Dodgers jersey. ESPN Plus wrote an article called, quote, "The Dodgers' secret weapon? Weighted bats." And I didn't read it. I didn't, because I was sitting there looking at the headline going, wow, LA really impressed ESPN with cutting-edge batting technology. Who would have thought of putting a weight on a baseball bat? And then it, of course, oh, wait, we all put weights on our bats in Little League. We know weighted bats help bat speed. Weighted bats help with bat control. If you can hold... How the hell is ESPN impressed with weighted bats? Who the hell did they replace there? I know that media companies are laying off scribes left and right, but who the hell are they hiring that is like, whoa, weighted bats, I can't believe my eyes? Freaking ESPN, dude. D'Angelo Russell of the Lakers sprained his ankle, his right one, during the first quarter against Golden State last night. Anything I say about it would be speculation, so we're just going to stick to the facts. There was an x-ray taken at Crypto.com Arena during the game. It came back negative. He's going to be reevaluated today. There is currently no MRI scheduled, and what I can tell you is an MRI would provide significantly more detail than an x-ray or a CT would when it comes to damage in the ankle. So there's a thought that it's only going to be a day-to-day thing as opposed to, say, a month, which does happen a lot with severe ankle injuries. Former Chargers offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi was hired by the Broncos. It's possible, even though his role is currently undefined, it is possible he could be the Broncos' offensive coordinator. But you know, and I realize a lot of Chargers fans are right now falling over, laughing, thinking it's an in-division rival and Joe Lombardi is the offensive coordinator. They're probably trying to do 100 cartwheels down the hall. Chill your jets a little bit. Let's be real. Sean Payton is calling the plays. Lombardi is just going to be a guy with a clipboard and a big laminated postcard. It's not that big of a deal. Denver had enough issues on offense. Lombardi ain't dragging them down any further. Meanwhile, the Chargers interviewed 2 candidates for defensive coordinator. They chatted up Doug Belk of the University of Houston and Patriots defensive line coach DeMarcus Covington. But I have to tell you, the story is extremely odd because other reports earlier this week suggested that the Chargers gave the gig by promoting an assistant coach, Derek Ainsley. Even weirder, Brandon Staley, we shouldn't be talking about who's going to be the defensive coordinator for the Chargers, period. Brandon Staley calls all the plays on defense. If you're a defensive coordinator with the Chargers, you just get a business card and a check. You're not doing anything. It's all Brandon Staley's ideas. Clippers incoming guard Bones Hyland said he felt kicked to the curb in Denver. To which we say, you were kicked to the curb in Denver. You were. You were the one who walked off on your team during a game. You were kicked to the curb. You might have done some kicking of yourself to said curb. You were causing so much drama, you weren't even allowed on the team plane once. You were put on coach for spirit. Dude, I don't want you to fail in LA, but a little self-reflection might be in order here, guy. I'm sure the Broncos did some bad stuff too, but you're young. You need to figure out some of the things that you need to figure out your own personal kinks, dude. We all do when we're in our 20s. Buy yourself a self-help book. Just saying, Bones. Bones. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Let me know what you think about Bobby Wagner leaving the Rams. Let me know what you think about El Trafico on Saturday. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.